Today, we're diving deep into a crypto exchange that's been getting a lot of attention. And honestly, not all of it is good. We're talking about KCEX. So let's cut through the marketing hype and see what the users and the data are really telling us. Let's just start with the number that immediately grabs your attention. This is the average user rating for KCEX on Trustpilot. Yeah, a 1.5 out of 5. Look, in any industry, that's a really bad score. But in the crypto world, where your money is on the line, that's a massive red flag that you just can't ignore. Okay, so before we get into the user reviews and all the drama, let's back up. What exactly is KCEX, at least on paper? We need to lay down the basics of what this platform is supposed to be. So here's a peek at the exchange's official profile. It's listed as an active platform, and it offers a few different kinds of trading. You've got DEX, which is decentralized, spot trading, for buying assets at their current price, and then derivatives, which are those more complex financial contracts. This gives us a baseline of what it's built to do. Let's break down the key stats real quick. KCEX was founded pretty recently, back in 2021, and it's headquartered in the Seychelles. They require basic KYC, or Know Your Customer, which is just that standard ID check. On the surface, all of this looks pretty standard for a crypto exchange these days. All right, now let's look at what KCEX promises its users. We're going to check out its features, its fee structure, and what it claims to do for security. This is basically their sales pitch, the why you should trade with us part of the story. The platform does offer a pretty decent range of trading options. You've got your regular spot trading, but also more advanced stuff like futures and perpetuals, which are basically bets on future prices, plus peer-to-peer trading. To be fair, for a seasoned trader, this feature list actually looks pretty attractive. Now, what about fees? Well, they follow some standard practices. Crypto deposits are advertised as free, but of course you still have to pay the blockchain network fees. Withdrawals have a fixed fee depending on the crypto. But what's kind of telling is what's missing. There's no listed fiat on-ramp. That means there's no clear, direct way to deposit money like US dollars, which is a huge hurdle for anyone who's not already deep in crypto. And on the security front, KCEX does cover some of the absolute basics. They've got two-factor authentication, an anti-phishing code to help you spot fake emails, and session management. So, these are the foundational layers, and it's good that they're here. But we'll come back to this. So on paper, the platform seems fairly normal, right? It has the features, a fee policy, and some basic security. But this is where our whole investigation pivots. What actually happens when real people put their real money on this exchange? And this is where the story just takes a complete nosedive. We're now looking at a massive storm of user complaints that paints an entirely different picture from what their slick website might show you. I mean, this quote from a Brokerate review really says it all. It's not just a handful of angry users. The feeling is predominantly negative. And when a review site straight up calls an exchange high risk, you really have to pay attention. So what are people actually complaining about? Well, the same things keep popping up again and again. Accounts getting frozen with zero warning, withdrawals being delayed for days or just flat out denied. And this one is a real doozy. People reporting that risk control measures get slapped on their account right after they make a big profitable trade. And to top it all off, when this stuff happens, users say customer support is basically a ghost. These user stories are alarming all by themselves. But do they point to bigger, more fundamental problems with the exchange? Let's dig into the red flags around transparency and security. Hey, remember that security checklist from a minute ago? Well, here's what's missing. There's no support for hardware 2FA, like a YubiKey, which is way more secure. No withdrawal whitelisting, which stops your funds from being sent to random addresses. And no mention of any kind of insurance fund to protect users if things go wrong. These aren't just nice little extras anymore. This is standard stuff for reputable exchanges. And this slide right here, this might be the biggest red flag of them all. After everything that happened with FTX, proof of reserves has become non-negotiable for so many investors. It's how an exchange proves they actually have the money they say they do. And KCEX, they provide absolutely nothing. No proof of their assets, no proof of their liabilities, no independent auditor to verify anything. You're basically just being asked to trust them completely. And in this industry, that is a huge ask. So, after all that, where do we land? Let's just put the platform's promises right next to what users are actually experiencing so we can see the full picture. On one side, you have the promise, a trading platform with all the cool features. But on the other side, you have the reality, a disastrous 1.5-star rating, tons of reports of frozen funds, and a complete black hole when it comes to financial transparency. I mean, the gap between what's promised and what's apparently being delivered is just massive. So when you put it all together, the conclusion is pretty hard to avoid. The sheer number of really serious complaints, combined with that total lack of transparency on things like proof of reserves, it puts KCEX firmly in the high-risk category. In this case, extreme caution isn't just a suggestion. It feels absolutely essential. And that brings us to our final question, which is really one for you to answer. In a crypto market that's just flooded with reputable, transparent exchanges, is any platform's list of fancy features really worth the risk of ignoring such a loud, clear, and consistent pattern of user warnings? The choice, as always, is yours.